What up, bitches? Welcome back to Law of Attraction Changed My Life. I am your host, Francesca Ramba, and I may be seeing some of you tomorrow. If you are going to the Happy Place Festival in Chiswick, London, well, it's not really London, Chiswick, outer London, it's a reach. I can't wait to see you. I'm doing a workshop with Mart at Canny Crystals, and I'm so excited. We went last year for the first time ever. And it was such a fun experience. I met so many people. There were loads of great stalls. So yeah, you're going to have a great time if you're going there. Let's pray it doesn't rain. This week, I want to talk to you about something that is very personal to me, but I'm also incredibly passionate about. And that is my continual evolving, I can't think of any other words, work on my self-development and how that helps me to manifest easier, faster, better, more in alignment, and live my best fucking life. Now, my self-development all comes from my book club. I read a new self-development book each month, and I do it with about 2,000 of you, and that keeps me very, very accountable. And we have done such a wide range of books, from the kind of traditional manifesting law of attraction books right through to cyclical living, dressing for the life that you want, learning how to feng shui your home using the ancient bagwas of traditional feng shui, and so much more. But what I wanted to show you today is what 6 months of self-development work genuinely looks like for me, and how it has changed my life on an ongoing basis just over the last 6 months, because we are halfway through the year. So we are now in July, and I am reading my 7th book of the year. And going all the way back to January, I always love to start any brand new year with a month of gratitude. And this is actually how my book club started. Was I read the book called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, and it was so transformative for me. I think I first did it like 15 years ago. And I noticed that something insane happened every time I did it. So I'm talking big life-changing things. I think twice I've done it and I've got pregnant both times. Once I did it and I made the decision to leave my long-term relationship, my partner, my husband, and move out, which was obviously a massive decision. And that book really gave me the clarity to do it. So every time I did it, I just had like these massive, massive life changes that would happen. And I realized that practicing I like to call it extreme gratitude. It's not regular gratitude, it's extreme gratitude over a consecutive number of days is very, very powerful in your life. And so I actually created my own gratitude book. That is the first book that I self-published, called Grateful as Fuck. And that was our book for January. So as I said, I like to do one every single January. I love to just start the year off with extreme gratitude. And doing this book was just a reminder for me that gratitude is a huge part of manifesting. And without gratitude for what you already have, you are really unlikely to receive any more. Starting the year off, especially with the shittest, darkest month of the year, with the habit of morning gratitude lists and focusing on gratitude in each area of our lives is really powerful. We project our gratitude to in positive ways, such as sharing our positive experience with brands or staff that we've encountered in restaurants or shops, as well as sending heartfelt messages to people in our lives. One of the practices I love from the book is changing I have to into I get to. So rather than saying, oh my God, I have such a busy day tomorrow. Like I know as much as the next busy bitch that life can be busy, it can be stressful, it can be overwhelming, it can be hard. And sometimes it feels like you just have too many plates spinning and that you just can't get everything done. You just can't. And there are days when I have to get 3 children up and out by 8:30, and then I'm dealing with lots of annoying life admin, and then maybe a plumber's coming at lunchtime to fix a washing machine that's broken, and I have to get all my work done. I have to make a hair appointment and go food shopping and then make dinner. And then my children have got bloody head lice, so I've got to do a knit treatment again, and then I have to make sure everyone gets to bed on time, otherwise they turn into fucking gremlins. So it sounds really busy and really stressful, right? But simply changing I have to into I get to is a super powerful mindset shift. So for example, I get to get my 3 children up and out at 8:30 because I live in a country where we have incredible education and childcare. I get to wake up 3 healthy children. How lucky am I? How lucky am I? Would I prefer not to have them? Would I prefer that they didn't live with me? Of course not. So thank you, universe. I get to deal with life admin today. Each piece of life admin, such as paying an electricity bill, that means I get to receive the benefits of electricity. Like, imagine not having that service in my life. How lucky am I? Thank you, universe. I get to pay for someone to fix my washing machine today. I'm so thankful I have the money to pay for that. I'm so thankful I'm going to have freshly laundered clothes without leaving my house. Thank you, universe. I get to work today on my dream career. How lucky am I? I can use that money to live in my home, eat, go out, go on holiday, whatever. I get to go food shopping and make dinner. What a miracle. I have local shops that are fully stocked with everything that I need, and I have a kitchen to cook that food in for me and my family. So you can see from those like pretty basic examples how you get to turn your I have to into I get to, and it is a very powerful mindset shift. And I can't explain it, bitches, but practicing extreme gratitude for a consecutive number of days, grateful as fuck, is 22 days. You can have some major shifts happen in your life, and I can't tell you what they're going to be. They might knock you sideways, you might not expect it, but it's a game changer. So we started off with that in January. Now, in February, we read the book Sacred Seasons. And this was such an important one for me as an SAD sufferer, reading about, by the way, I'm not just saying I'm sad, seasonal affective disorder. So in the winter, I really struggle with the lack of light, the lack of heat, the lack of life. Like I really fucking struggle with it. So reading about cyclical living and the seasons, it really, really helps me. So we read this in the deepest, darkest depths of winter, and it's a way of planning your year out with the seasons in mind. And in fact, this process is so effective that I actually have added this into my goal setting party that we do every January 1st, to plan your goals out throughout the year according to the seasons. Now, this book taught me that winter may be drab and I may dread it, but it actually really does serve a purpose. Like winter, it is a time to rest. It's a time to restore. If you look out at nature, and where I am right now in my office, I'm right at the top of my house and I've got windows out to the side, out to the front, and it's overlooking my garden and farmers' fields and just nature basically. And if you look out at nature, nothing blooms all year long. Like nothing, except for fucking conifers. Nobody can kill those. But nothing else blooms all year long, and neither can we. So rather than seeing it as a cold, damp cock block to my fun, I now see it as an opportunity to rest, to restore, to plan for brighter times ahead. And that really has shifted my mindset around winter. And that is such a powerful thing to do because look, we're experiencing that shit for what, a good 4 months of the year. And if you're going to be Debbie Downer that whole fucking time, it ain't going to be good, okay? It ain't going to be good for nobody. But if you can actually embrace it and see the positive in it and enjoy it for what it is, it makes such a difference. So last December, we actually read a book called Calm Christmas. And that book had such an impact on me. I normally spend December and Christmas being very, very frantic, like most people, and especially like most mums, frantically trying to get everything done, trying to reach all the milestones you need to do and do all the things you need to do, wrap all the presents, go and see Santa, do this, do that, put the Christmas tree up, all this shit. And I rarely got time to stop and really soak it in and enjoy it. And that book really changed the way that I Christmas. Like that book is going to be coming out this November. And for the first time ever, I really got to savor and enjoy Christmas and be present in the moment. I planned and executed so many things ahead of time in November so that I could actually sit back and enjoy Christmas with my children. So that book was also great. But these books all about winter, wintering well. And there's so many other books. So Sacred Seasons, Calm Christmas. There's a book called Evergreen by Lydia Millen I really want to read. But these kind of books I like to read in the winter time when I'm struggling with the seasons. There's another one. What's the other one called? I can't remember. Wintering Well, that was it. Or Wintering. The Art of Wintering. Something like that. I'm going to leave a list of all the books below so that you can check them out. Sacred Seasons helped me realize that I need to get certain things done that are just time consuming and boring, such as dentists, appointments, eye checkups, doctor appointments, all kinds of shit like that. I don't want to be wasting my precious summer days and my summer energy doing shit like that, or getting things done within the home and garden so that come spring, you can fully enjoy it. So when I set out my goals according to the seasons, one of the first things I did, I think it was like the first or second week of January, I got my driveway laid and I got gates put on my front of my house, so that when spring did come around and the days started getting lighter and warmer and brighter, my children could start enjoying being out there and scooting round, and I could be out there gardening and know that everyone was safe with the gates locked. And that's a prime example of using that downtime to get everything prepared and everything ready. Like, my front garden was completely unusable for about 6 weeks, but did it matter? No, I didn't give a shit. It was the middle of winter. I didn't care. My next door neighbours have just had some work done in their garden, and there was about 3 weeks of their garden just being covered in builders. They had to re-turf half of it because it was just like mud. And I just thought, wow, like, that's taken up like almost a month of your summer, like not being able to use your garden. So anyway, planning your goals according to the year, it is very, very enlightening. We learned that we have a huge burst of energy in the springtime. And once you know that, you can use it wisely and achieve what you want. So it's a little bit like tracking your cycle and knowing that your follicular stage, you'll be super productive. And on ovulation, you want to be like arranging your social occasions, holidays, and be like out there in the world. So currently we are in summer, apparently. And right now is the season of abundance and saying yes to life. So I don't beat myself up about not getting this or that done, because my priority in this season is just to enjoy life. And my goals, which I planned out back in January, all reflect that. I don't have any crazy work goals over the summer. I have put things in place like holidays and trips away and things planned with my children or friends coming to stay, because this is the season of life that we are in right now, is abundance and saying yes to your life and enjoying shit. So I hope that all makes sense. Now, in March, I read the book Infinite Receiving. Now, the title of this book was a lesson in itself, because I don't know about you, but when I hear that, like infinite receiving, what? I can receive infinitely. It's the lesson that you never really can ask for too much. There's no such thing as being too greedy or being too selfish or you're asking for too much. So what I learned in this book, and it makes so much sense once it's explained to you, is that we are in receiving mode all the time. We never stop receiving. Every single day, every single minute, we are receiving experiences, opportunities, people. We're constantly receiving this stuff, right? But the quality and the vibration of those things, that depends on us. That depends on what work we've done and how much we've raised our vibration and cleared ourselves so that our magnets can attract differently. So if you have been receiving the same old shit for years and years and years, it's up to you to change your frequency and work on your limiting beliefs to raise that frequency and start to attract different things. So if you think about it, you would never say, oh, I've had so much bad stuff happen to me. Like, I can't possibly ask for any more. Like, you just didn't say it that way. So to say like, oh, I've had so much good. I've had so many good things happen to me. I've had so many good experiences, so many good people in my life. I can't possibly want more. But actually, we are just receiving all the time. And it's just up to you to decide what quality and level those things are that come into your life. This book also gave us a great reminder that if you don't feel your feelings at the time, that they will store in your body and they will drain the fuck out of you. And I wrote some notes about this in my book club journal because that is something so important that I have changed in my life since reading this book. So in the past, if something happened to me, if somebody said something to me, or I'd had like a negative interaction with somebody, or I just felt really sad or whatever, I would kind of just try and ignore it and be like, oh, well, why don't I feel good? Like, how can I just get back onto a positive vibration? But since reading this book, I now feel my feelings. I need to feel them and I need to let them pass through me. Emotions are energy in motion. And I don't overthink these feelings, right? I don't overthink them. I don't try and think, well, what's the answer? What's the solution? Why do I feel like this? Instead, I just feel them and I physically move them out of my body. So if you see an animal in the wild or a dog or whatever, when they have a negative interaction, maybe they get into a little barking match with another dog, or they try and bite whatever, they've been attacked or whatever, they shake after, like they shake it off. And that act of shaking it off is actually your body's way of shaking that energy out of your body. And it sounds crazy, but now if I get a very triggering text from one of my exes or something happens and I feel those intense emotions, rather than sitting there and being like, oh, I hate this, instead I feel that emotion, I acknowledge it, and I get up and I fucking shake it out in the style of Taylor Swift. I will either get on my treadmill or I will just do some crazy yoga. I will do something, yoga moves, dancing, shaking, whatever. I will just get that shit. And I literally visualize it shaking out of my body. And it is very, very effective. Honestly, try it. Try it. One of the last things that I really took from this book was when I'm feeling stuck or stagnant, I don't ask what I need to do. And in the past, I've always been like, okay, what do I need to do? What processes do I need to put in place? What do I need to do? And that can feel very, very overwhelming. But instead, I ask who? Who do I need to be? So rather than what do I need to do, who do I need to be? Who do I need to be to receive this manifestation? Who do I need to be to reach this level? Now, in April, we read a book that I gotta say was one of my absolute favorites. It was called Make Space for Happiness. And I have never read a decluttering book like it. So I tend to read one decluttering book per year, and I tend to do one massive clear out per year. And I truly believe that clutter is a massive obstacle that overwhelms us and stops us from achieving our goals. We are in a time that we have never been in before, where items are so cheap and so readily available. We've never had so much access to stuff before. And you'll see even people that are living in poverty, back in the day, even like in the 80s or whatever, if you were in poverty, you didn't really have much shit. Like you didn't really have anything. You see people that are in poverty and below the poverty line now, their houses are filled with stuff. We've never had this much exposure to stuff. We've never had this much access to it because of low prices. And we've also never been sold to as much as we have in the past. Like we are sold to all the time now. And it's so insidious. It is being sold to you by influencers who are like, oh, I tried this thing and it's incredible and you need it too. It's going to change your life. It's not like it says advert, like this is an advert. Do you know what I mean? So this book taught us about 7 clutter magnets. And this is when we hoard things in place of just getting that feeling or that quality that we really, really want. So these are like true connection, self-confidence, free time, big love, self-respect, real purpose, and lasting wisdom. And I love this book because it's the first book that has really stopped me bringing more clutter into my home, because I can recognize what I am hoarding in place of what I really, really want. So my magnets personally were wellness supplements. I literally had, I think I had over 80. And then when I found more, I had over 150 bottles of supplements and vitamins and whatever. Now, to be fair to myself, I do get sent these from companies and I'm never going to say no because your girl loves a supplement, okay? So I realised that I am actually seeking wellness. I'm seeking health. That is one of my priorities in my life. And actually, I can get that in ways that don't attract any clutter into my home. Me getting to bed before 11 p.m., me having a decent sleep in complete pitch blackness, me having enough fruits and vegetables in the day, drinking the right amount of water. All these things are free and don't take any extra clutter. And those actually would do far more good than any supplement. So it's just something to really be aware of what I'm trying to attract into my life and why I'm attracting all of this shit instead. My other clutter magnet was all of these like outfits to feel self-confident. So whenever I had a big event come up or a night out or whatever, I would always buy like 2 or 3 outfits without really putting much thought into it. But I just wanted to feel confident and I wanted to feel like myself, and I would just buy all this random shit and half of it would never ever get worn. And I realized that all of that clutter of all of those clothes and shoes and whatever were just that I wanted to feel confident when I was out. Now, whilst we were reading this book, I actually got invited to the BAFTAs, like a huge, huge awards show. And I was walking the red carpet. I was going with my publicist. It was going to be like a whole thing, right? And in the past, I would have automatically, and in fact, I actually said it out loud. I said to my mum, I don't care what it costs. I'm going to go to, there's like this local carpet shop, not a carpet shop. I wasn't going to wear a carpet, a local dress shop to me that is like world renowned. It's called Red Carpet Ready. It does these beautiful dresses. Dresses are usually about £700 to £1,000 there. And I was like, I don't care what it costs. I'm going to go there and I'm going to get the most amazing dress. And even if I have to get 2, so I've got choice. And because I was reading this book, I realised, oh, I actually see what you're doing there, Fran. You just want to go to the BAFTAs, which is going to be quite outside your comfort zone, and you want to feel confident, you want to feel good. And I realized that instead, what I needed to do was just focus on feeling good within myself. So I actually, in the run up to the BAFTAs, I think I had about a month's notice, I took really good care of myself. I went on my treadmill every day. I was eating really healthy. I was drinking enough water. I was taking care of my skin. I was sticking to my skincare routine that someone had prescribed to me. I was really doing all the things. And you know what? I ended up wearing a dress that I had bought previously and never worn. And I wore some shoes from New Look that I'd had for like maybe even 10 years. Like I think they were like 10 years old, but they were just black heels. And I borrowed a bag from my sister. I mean, I really took it to the extreme. But that was a prime example of an event where my automatic reaction is, I don't care what it costs. I'm going to buy my self-confidence. And that event really changed it for me. Instead, I just took the time to go through my existing wardrobe, to try different combinations, to really think about the look and the vibe I wanted to give. And it honestly was a game changer. It didn't really cost me anything. And the money that I did spend, I actually spent on things like having my hair done and getting a makeup artist. So no clutter was collected due to me going to the BAFTAs. And that was a bit of a game changer for me. We also talked about in this book, media literacy and questioning every time we see something online. Ask, are we being sold to right now? Like, am I being sold to? And who is benefiting from me being sold to right now? So media literacy, becoming a critical consumer, the lessons within that book have really stayed with me. And I find myself sometimes scrolling on social media and I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, tap to buy. And then I'm like, no. Fran, be a critical consumer. You're being sold to right now. Who is benefiting from you buying this? Do you truly need it? What are you trying to attract instead? If it is that you want to feel better about your body, if it's that you want your skin to be better, if it's whatever, there are other ways that you can do that that does not involve bringing more clutter into your house. A great part of the book that stayed with me is when Tracy, the author, talks about self-care and whether what you are doing is truly self-care. And she says that if there is a disconnect between how you feel during the activity and after, so for example, shopping, then it is not self-care. I also realised that I got into the habit of shopping with my friends or family as like a pastime. And actually, that is not really great quality time together. We're just all bringing more shit into our homes. And actually, could we do something else a bit more fulfilling instead? So, for example, my friend and I decided to go on a photo walk together. We did a walk around Camden and we took photos, and that was really, really enjoyable. It wasn't us just sitting there eating or drinking wine, or, I mean, we still did that, let's be honest, or going out shopping. It was something really exciting. Okay, the month of May, we went straight into the power of fun. And this seemed to just follow on really well from Make Space for Happiness. In Make Space for Happiness, we were discovering what were all of these clutter magnets in our life. Why were we attracting all this shit into our life instead of the real love and experiences and connection that we wanted? And so going straight into the power of fun just seemed like such a great follow on. Now, when we first opened up this book, it asked us to be honest with ourselves and say, when was the last time that you genuinely had fun? And what is worrying for so many of us that just find ourselves busy with day-to-day work and running houses and raising children and doing whatever we're doing is that it may have been quite a while since you last really, really laughed, or you last really had fun. And you may actually come to the shocking realization that you don't know what you do for fun anymore. And there's so many of us that don't know what is our hobby, what's our passion, what's our hobby, what's our pastime. And that was me. I felt shocked that I didn't do anything just truly for fun anymore. And I actually went and tried horse riding. So when I was a teenager, I had 3 horses. I was absolutely passionate about horses. I loved it. I tried it. In my 30s, I fucking hated it. I literally hated it from the minute I got there till the minute I finished. I just did not enjoy it at all. And so I found myself just like, oh my God, I don't know what I do for fun. Like, I can't think of anything that I really, really love that is not fake fun. It doesn't involve alcohol or drugs, like genuine fun. So a big part of this book was deciphering what is fun for us. What are the common themes in what we do and don't enjoy? And if doing a fun audit doesn't sound fun for you, you got to bear with the process, guys, because it honestly does enlighten you to what aspects of things make things fun for you. So as a result of this book, this is how it fucking changed my life. I started pole dancing and I fucking love it. Spoiler alert, I love it. If you are following me on Instagram, if you're not, what you're doing with your life, I'm at Francesca Amber or at Law of Attraction Changed My Life. You will see that I have been swinging around a goddamn pole every Monday night and loving my damn life. So this book really showed me that prioritizing fun is not selfish, it's not stupid, but actually it's imperative to living a life that we love and being able to manifest more of what we want into our lives. So in the past, so basically during reading this book, I saw a video come up from a fellow school mum, and she basically had started this pole dancing journey and she had become like amazing at it, right? And I watched it and I was like, I want to do that. She lives locally. I can totally sign up to that pole dancing school. I was so excited. Now, I think if I hadn't been reading this book, my logical mind would have said, but you can't, Fran. It's in the evening. You'll have to get a babysitter in. You'll have to leave the girls. It just went, all the excuses, right? But this book was showing me that I need to prioritize fun in my life. And so, do you know what? Your girl signed up to a 6-week beginner course and I roped in my friend as well. Now, this friend that I do it with is a friend that I met about a year or 2 ago. And although we have good conversations and stuff, we'd never actually really taken the time to like meet up and go out and, you know, because we've got like fucking 6 children between us. And I think that this whole connection thing for when we are older and when we meet new friends can be a bit of a like, well, what do? You just go and sit in a bar, sitting opposite each other, or you go and sit and eat food. Like, that's kind of like it. Or you go to a bottomless brunch and you get fucking wasted. Like, as fun as those things are, they're not always fun. They're not always fun, are they? How many times do you come home from those things and you're like, It's not as fun as I thought it would have been. So we go together and we are both so passionate about this pole dancing. We just both fucking love it. So I've got that connection because I'm going with a friend and it's full of great people there as well that are all very like-minded. Now, something else I discovered about what makes something fun for me is documentation, aka pics or it didn't happen. So I love documenting anything. If I go on a holiday and I don't really get any lovely pictures or videos, it makes me feel really, really sad. Like for me, that is a big part of it. And luckily, when you do pole dancing, the teacher actually actively encourages you to record your process, to take pictures, to take videos. And so documentation is a big part of it. Progress. That's another part of what makes it fun for me. I'm not just going to an exercise class and doing exercise for the sake of it. For what? To be able to do a star jump slightly better in 6 months' time. Like, fuck that. It's the fact that I am progressing and getting better at something. It's very, very rewarding. And something else I learned during this month is that actually, for such a sedentary bitch, movement, exercise is something that really brings me joy. So whether it is Irish dancing with my daughter and her best friend, or doing pole dancing with my friend Jess, whatever it might be, when it involves movement, it really brings me joy. Not to mention the fact that it is also in alignment with my health is wealth goal. So don't forget that hobbies and interests like this, they massively increase your social capital. Now, if you listen to my episode about dating with Paul Brunson, you will remember all about social capital. Social capital is what you build your life around. They're the building blocks of your life. So, for example, if you went on a date and you had very little social capital, it'd be like, oh, hi, my name's Fran, and I just work in an office down the road, but I fucking hate it. Like, I'm just passing the time while I'm there. And I like watching Love Island. Sometimes go out shopping or drinking with my friends on a Saturday night. Yeah, that's about it really. Now, that's very low social capital. Now, high social capital is, hi Dave, my name's Fran. So I've got 3 daughters who I absolutely love raising. We do loads of fun stuff together. I've just started a pole dancing class with my friend Jess. We go every Monday night and I absolutely love it. I'm really passionate about it. I love doing photography. I regularly go on photography walks with my friend Polly and we photograph all different areas of London. I also love urban exploring. So I do that with my sister and my nephews and we find all these derelict buildings and we go in and it's really fun. I'm really passionate about the law of attraction. So much that I've made it my job. Do you see what I mean? That is social capital. Having things that when you meet people, you can talk about it and be like, hey, I do this thing and I fucking love it and I'm really passionate about it. So there were so many other aspects to this book that were so interesting, such as doing a fun audit, building a joy list, noticing playgrounds, and that's not what you think it is. Seeking absurdity. Seeking absurdity is one of the things that gave me the biggest laugh during that month. Discovering how rebellion can actually add to fun. Microdoses of fun, savouring and declaring out loud when you love something. So this is all far too much to go into now, but I noticed several moments of true fun as a result of doing this book. And because of that, recognizing what is actually true fun, I can now cultivate more of that in the future. All of these books are on the book club. If ever you want to go back and listen to any of these and you want to read it alongside me and listen to the podcasts, they are all on there. And like I said, I'm going to leave a whole list of them down below. But The Power of Fun was honestly, I've got to say, I think one of my favourite books this year. And as a result of it, look, my life has changed. I'm now a fucking pole dancer, bitch. Okay, so we come to June. June, we read The Goddess Path, a very, very different book. And the first book that I have ever read that is about divine feminine energy and about like goddess energy. I've never done anything like this. So I started reading this book with a very open mind. I created a goddess altar out of an Asda body vase and a Barbie and a couple of other random bits that I found around my house. I wrote a love letter to myself. I invoked the goddess into my life. We learned about the feminine archetypes and were able to see which ones we were like heavily relying on and others that we needed to bring in for balance. And we were introduced to a goddess called Durga, who was a little bit like Moldavite. Now, the author did warn us When we invoke the goddess into our lives, when we invite her into our life, she will trailblaze through it. Is that the right word, trailblaze? She would basically like fucking fight her way in there. She'll kick the door open with her vagina and she'll be like, yo, bitch, I'm here. And she is a little bit like Moldavite. She will highlight everything in your life that is not working for you and will seemingly turn you upside down. And you'll initially be like, why have I done this? But actually it will be for the greater good. Now, this happened to me. I got dragged into the void or the underworld for about 2 weeks. I was extremely depressed. I felt extreme despair. And basically, she was showing me all of the aspects of my life that, to be quite honest, I need to change. And I came out the other side of it with a lesson that was so strong and so clear to me. And it was quite personal, so I'm not going to share it on here. That is for the book club bitches. But it really showed me like an important lesson. And I've changed my behavior as a result ever since, like just consistently changing it, seeing what I can do every single day to change it. So we did a chapter in this book about alchemizing a conscious no into a positive yes. And this is the idea that the more you say no to that which doesn't light you up, the more space you have in life to say yes to things that are right for you. One little practice I took from this book that I absolutely cherish and adore, and I do it every single morning, and it's honestly changed my life. And remember, when I say it's changed my life, it's often not massive, like boom moments. Do you know what I mean? Like bang, crash, oh my God, like an epiphany that change your life. But it's actually the small practical things that we implement every day, little mindset shifts that we implement every day, those compound into a much bigger life change. So this small little technique was the habit of getting up every single morning. And when I go into my bathroom, I look in the mirror or I look out my window and I say to myself, what are you feeling today, Fran? And what do you need? And what's interesting is every day will be a slightly different answer. There are days where I'm like, I just need rest. I just need rest today. I need to fucking rest. I need to restore. There are other days where I need connection and I need love. And there are other days where I need productivity. Like I need to give myself a kick up the bum and I need to be productive and I need to get ahead because my future self will thank me for it. And so it's such a lovely habit of just getting into that habit of saying, what do you need today? And then living your life accordingly throughout that day. At this point, you can also call upon the goddess energy, which when we say the goddess, you could also call upon the universe. It's all about that co-creation. It doesn't really matter what you call it, goddess, energy, source, whatever, but you can call upon it and say like, lend me your patience today. Lend me your strength. Lend me your courage, whatever you need that day. And honestly, it's a goddamn vibe. So during this book, we had a chapter about setting boundaries. And that is a big part of self-love, is setting boundaries for ourselves and those around us. And one of the boundaries that I actually set 2 boundaries, right? So the first boundary I set was around my physical space. My bedroom had become a free-for-all. Now, when I say that, I wish that I meant that in like a Tinder hinge binge way. Like, oh, these guys are just, no, there ain't no guys in my bedroom, just 3 young girls that seem to think it's their goddamn space. They would eat snacks in my bed. They would bring all their toys in. It would just be like a nightmare. And I didn't feel like that bedroom was my space, was my sanctuary. And so I set a boundary and I said, girls, you will always be allowed in my bedroom. You will always be allowed to come and cuddle up with me in bed. Like I'm a co-sleeping bitch. I'm an attachment parenter. It's always going to be that way, but your shit ain't coming with you. You're not bringing in 5 different Barbies, a packet of crisps that you're going to spread all over the floor and a drink that you're going to spill. No, my friend, that shit can stay in your bedroom. And so I set this boundary of like, this is my space. This is my environment that I need as a busy mum of young children. I deserve this space. And so do you know what? I went out and I bought 2 bedside lamps because my lighting was very, very harsh in there. I got out these bedside tables that I'd inherited from my nan, cleaned them up, put them in there, put these lovely lamps on top. I suddenly had this beautiful mood lighting. I had my best bedding on my bed, and I just made that space my own, and I made it a sacred space for me. And that was a really beautiful boundary to put in place, because there are days where I feel absolutely overwhelmed. There are days where I feel at the end of my fucking tether. And to have that space for me was a really great gift of self-love to myself. Another boundary I put in place was replying to messages. Now, I will often get triggering messages from certain people in my life. And due to past experiences, I feel like I have to respond straight away. And the problem is when you're getting message upon message upon message of misinformation and false accusations and stuff, it can feel really exhausting to have to reply to it all. And sometimes it can totally kill your fucking vibe. You might be out with your friends. You might be settled down after a long day to watch your favourite TV show. You might be in the middle of a work day, and it completely kills your fucking vibe. And so I set a boundary, both with myself, and I also told the person as well. And I said, I will not be responding to messages in the moment. I am not a 24-hour hotline. I will be taking 24 hours to respond to messages. I'll respond to them in a time that suits me. Now, this isn't taking the piss and saying I'm going to reply in 3 weeks. It's just 24 hours. Let me live my fucking life. And that, again, was a really positive boundary for me. We also had a chapter on rest. And there was a quote in this chapter that I absolutely loved, and it is this: when our hands are full, there is nowhere for us to be able to receive gifts that want to come to us. And it's so true, isn't it? When our lives and our hands are full, how can we say yes? How can we be open to receive all the goodness that life is trying to give us if we are so bogged down? And that's why, of course, decluttering and ruthlessly editing your life and setting boundaries is so important, because you don't want your hands to be so full that you can't receive anything new that you want to bring into your life. This chapter also talked about regular rest and how regular rest is so powerful. How you wouldn't go on a car journey without any petrol in your car, or you wouldn't go out for the day with 1% phone battery. And yet we do that to ourselves all the time, literally running on empty, running on fumes. And since reading this book, I refuse to do that anymore. I honour my body a lot more. I honour my feelings. I honour my cycle. And if I am feeling truly exhausted, as I often do, I take a rest. I take a fucking rest, and I see that as a positive, not a negative, not something to be ashamed of, not something to feel bad about, but actually something I am doing for me. And so thank you, the Goddess Path, for giving me that gift of guilt-free rest, because Lord knows sometimes I fucking need it. And so that is what 6 months of self-development in my world looks like. Hopefully you can see what small lessons or small mindset shifts or small techniques that I take from each book. The Goddess Path, just waking up every day and getting into the habit of being what do I need today? And honouring that within myself, setting a couple of boundaries. The power of fun, taking up a new hobby that I absolutely love and dedicating some time, energy and space to fulfilling that part of my life. Recognising why clutter comes into my home and what it is truly trying to be in place of, and instead seeking out what I truly want, such as true connection or self-confidence, rather than building clutter up in its place. Realising that I am always receiving, I am infinitely receiving, and it's up to me the level or quality of what I am receiving into my life, and that I'm never asking for too much. And cyclical living, being in the season that I am in, the era that I am in, and truly appreciating that era for what it is, and working with that season rather than against it. So this month I am reading You Are a Fucking Success by Noor Hibbert. And this is all about transforming your life and manifesting the next level of your life. And it's been a hot minute since I truly consciously decided, what do I want? What does my next level of life look like? And so it's really exciting for me to be doing some real work on in all areas of my life. What does that look like? How can I manifest and get clear on and declare what I want in my fucking life? Now, this book goes into a lot of like the science of how the law of attraction works. And I have never heard it explained in these ways before. It is absolutely mind blowing. It gives me more faith than ever before. And it actually turns the law of attraction for me from a faith into like more of a science, which is really exciting because I know there's a lot of skeptics out there. You can bamboozle them with the science. So if you want to come and join us in the book club, I will leave a link down below. You can join at any time. You can do any of the books that we've done in the past. You can come and join us on this month's journey. If you are new to manifesting, if you are new to the law of attraction, this would be a great book to start with because it really goes into everything about the law of attraction and manifesting and reaching that next level vision of your life. So come and join us. I will leave a link down below. That's it. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. It's slightly longer than usual. But I hope you can see how powerful it is to regularly read and to take lessons from these authors and these self-development books and how applying them into your life can truly transform your life little by little. If you've enjoyed this episode, do your girl a solid. You can rate, review, subscribe. They're all free. They all take seconds, but they make a big difference to me. So that would really help me out. And you can come follow me on Instagram. I'm at Francesca Amber or at Law of Attraction Changed My Life. Or you can find all my other stuff at francescaamber.com. And like I said, I'm going to leave a list of all of the books down below, so you can devour these lessons for yourself. If you find it hard to actually physically read a book, I'll also leave a link for a month free of Audible. You can get a free book with that so you can pick your favourite and listen to it. Or like I said, come and join the book club and you can just listen to the podcast episodes and follow along the journey with all the rest of us, getting all of the goodness out of each book and transforming your goddamn life. Right, bitches, I shall see you next week. Thank you so much for listening, as always. The law of attraction has changed my life. It's going to change yours too, bitch. Bye.